Okay, welcome to episode 3 of the Elevated Podcast. I am Les Collegian. I'm here with Mark Gallo, and today we are introducing Rocco Cortese from Intersection, and we're going to learn all about him, who has been in EO for how long now, Rocco?
This is my 10th year.
Former president, too. So I think
president.
we have to say President Rocco. Yeah. It's Mr. President.
Yes, you can call it.
You know, that's how we call it.
Yeah.
So, Rocco,
Everybody else
We
says.
salute.
yeah, we do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rocco, and the business, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Calgary, Canada. So I'm an immigrant. That's a son of immigrants. My mom and dad are from Italy. They immigrated to Canada, and we all came down here in 1977.
Yeah.
So I don't have my Canadian accent anymore, except for certain moments. Yeah, you may pick it up. You may pick up on a boot. It's never but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Again. But yeah, so I'm Canadian, and then I've been in the United States since '77. I definitely feel like I have dual citizenship, but Southern California for raised after that, and then San Diego State University. Great time, here at
Aztecs.
I Go Aztecs. Yeah, and
My saying is you can't shovel sunshine, so it's much better to be down here. The Alberto.
yeah, I mean, and yeah, I don't miss the winters walking home in the dark at 3 p.m.
Uphill.
Uphill both ways with the snow. May on my face, but the short days.
Your kids know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, those short days in winter sucked.
Yeah.
But then I moved to the Bay Area. I started my career, and I kind of chilled out a little bit.
what was the start of your career?
I was in commercial real estate. I got a job. Well, actually, I couldn't get a job. I came out of school in '86, and the economy was tricky then.
Yeah.
It's so different. I'm like, guys, I mean, come on. I had a pad of paper. I typed.
Yeah, sure.
Are we allowed to use profanity on this podcast?
Of course.
I typed my fucking resume. I would send out letters and mail them out. I mean, it was just such a different time, and I kind of laugh at kids these days. Like, well, I don't know. I'm like, all that information is so incredibly accessible now versus our time, right?
Right.
But anyways, I was selling shoes for a while because I couldn't find a job. I was sleeping on my brother's couch in LA, and his roommate said, "Hey, why don't you interview, with my boss?" I said, "Well, who's your boss?" He said, "It's real estate." I majored in marketing. I thought I was going to get into advertising. I wanted to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
I was like,
Let's run for the hills.
yeah, right. So anyways,
Yeah, don't do that. That's
CSA. 6 interviews later, I got a job with Coldwell Bank, which is now CB Richard Ellis, and I just started my commercial real estate career. But I didn't really love it. I mean, I was super lost, because I thought I was going to be in marketing. I loved writing. I thought I was going to be in a creative job, and so I worked there. Then went on to work for a developer for a couple of years, and I just was super unhappy.
Yeah.
Right. So I quit my job, and I spent the next couple of years traveling around the world. So I saved a few bucks.
I got to go back because it's hilarious, and I'll speak to you youngsters out there, and Colton, that's you behind the camera. When he's talking about typing his resume, I remember. So we didn't have our own computers, right? And so when I was in college, so you got me by a couple of years. I had to go to the computer science center. I'm a lefty, but the mouse was on the right hand side, and it was locked down. So I use a mouse on the right hand side of my because that's all you could do, that you couldn't move it, and so you have to adapt to all these things that today we take for granted, like
still tablet.
Yeah, no, we had the computer science lab too, but you did that what's COBOL, but the other programming thing that you got to take.
Oh God, DOS,
SS standard,
Perfected.
basic.
Got to take
Right, C:\\\/
Yeah.
blah.
yeah, I remember that. And then I basically said, this is, I was super unhappy, and I said, fuck this. I saved a few bucks, and I went and traveled in Asia for
So jealous.
Yeah, I know, something I wish I did.
And then I came back, and I worked during the savings and loan crisis for a year, and then I went back out on the road again to travel to Europe. So I was gone probably like 18 months backpacking by myself, no cell phone. Right. I used to get in the phone booth, send postcards so people could keep track of me, know where I was.
Right.
Like, just think about that. That's sort of mind bending.
Yeah.
It's just,
How did we find each other?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And then, right.
How do we make plans?
Right. And
Yeah.
I don't remember, right?
Right. I don't remember. It's really funny.
Yeah. Then you'd run into people randomly too that you never.
Well, you said you were going to be somewhere at a certain time.
Yeah.
And then you were there. And if you weren't there, you waited for a period of time. You're like, okay, when do I leave? You're like, is Rocco going to show? It's been 30 minutes.
Maybe he's going to.
But I don't know. He might be just stuck in traffic. Like, I don't know.
There's something to be said for that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, there's something to be said for.
Not living life on a schedule.
Yeah.
Like,
Not always having. I mean, we all talk about this all the time. It's ad nauseum. Like, what, the phones are great, but they have their issues. And I think it's kind of cool experimental. Well, I'm grateful that I had that experience because I was able to do it.
Yeah.
And, I have all these postcards that my parents kept that I used to, sit down and write in coffee shops. And that moment when you're writing a postcard by yourself and reflecting upon, it's what I did in, Paris today or something like that, or in Tokyo, wherever I was. It was just a great, pause.
do you feel like those experiences shaped the way that you function today?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about, I mean, I don't know. In particular, I personally like not being around people or having just that moment. I journal.
Tell me that Rocco is a pretty introvert. I'm not hearing this.
Well, surprise. I test as a quasi introvert. Yeah. I'm social, but with people, I like meaningful conversations, not necessarily like at a party, like whatever, like, I know all of you. I really love this community because I can go deep right away with somebody. We were at the Hard Rock the other day, as we're having this party, and one of the people who was there took me aside and said, you had this conversation with me about a year ago at the yacht club, and you said you went so deep so quickly, I'll never forget it. Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So this is so natural, right? But I mean, I do think that but I'm not special, right? I mean, my kids, what formed them in their youth is going to be different from what forms the kids of today's and their future and their futures. So, I'm not any different, but I do think that, I really, really love the feeling of my pen on a piece of paper. Like, I like to write.
We were just talking about that.
I was talking about it.
Yeah, Savash had a Remarkable, which I tried to get and use, and it's a wonderful thing, but I just couldn't get the digital down. I need the pen and paper.
Yeah. I have one of those too. It's funky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I had a great experience, and then I traveled up to the Bay Area, and when I got back, and because I didn't want to live in Southern California anymore. And I lived in San Francisco and in Sonoma. I got married there, and I was there for like 17, 18 years. It's my adopted hometown. I know it's called San Francisco. I love San Francisco. Yeah. Even with the problems it's had, it's, still my favorite city. In its heyday, it was really such a great place to live. I really enjoyed it. And then we moved, we had 3 kids. I got married, and we had these 3 kids, and they're 22 twins and a 20-year-old daughter now. And we moved back here to be around our grandparents. Her parents and my parents were all in Southern California. So we made it back to San Diego. And
when did you start Intersection? I mean, like what year was that? And I know, did you just kind of happen into, you said you wanted to be in advertising, but you happened into commercial real estate and then just started on your own, or what was the process then?
Yeah, good point. Good question, actually. So when I came back from Europe and Asia and all this travel, I realized that it's important to have money.
Did you pass thesis to you? Or society?
I got a job in San Francisco because I needed a job, right? And in commercial real estate, working downtown, and a whole world of real estate opened up to me that I wasn't aware of. Before, I was like running a bunch of small properties with these firms and chasing like. I remember one time I had to remove a dead cow off a railroad track in Vernon. Not me personally, but I'm like, I had to go, like, I'm on the track looking at this dead animal. And okay. So it was weird.
Exactly.
And so in San Francisco, it was high-rise office buildings, much different. And that's a really cool thing to be involved with. Like, I really love big buildings, skyscrapers, and I always have, right? When we were in Calgary, my dad worked downtown, so I was always downtown looking up at the bigger buildings, and they seemed so huge to me. And even to this day, like when I go to New York City, I just looking up at these, whether it be, where's NBC have its studios again? Rock Center.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, Rocks. I'm sitting at the bottom of Rockefeller Center, like it just always blows me away. So I got into running a bunch of high-rise office buildings, and I kind of found myself, and I found a community, and I found a city that I loved, and I always say that like what's around you isn't really what is important; it's what's inside of you, right? Is choose your own happiness. And in this particular circumstance, as I reflect upon it, like it was really what was around me made the big difference. I just felt the energy of a city like San Francisco. And the people were kind of my people.
Yeah.
And that worked out pretty well. And then, I was having fun. I was having fun again. And so I stuck with real estate, right? And but when I was doing that I got
For somebody else, though,
for somebody else. Jones Lang LaSalle is the last firm I worked for, a big company, global company. But you guys, we all talk. I think a lot of us, some of us are entrepreneurs right out of the gate, middle college, and
Wasn't me.
No, I worked.
No. Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to, I was, hitting a ceiling, right? And I needed to do something bigger with my life. So I decided to start I wanted to start my own company. I started putting out feelers and figuring a few things out. I started a brokerage company with 3 guys up in the Bay Area called Presidio Exchange Advisors, in fact. And we had a pretty good run from 2003 to 2008. Very, very hot time in commercial real estate.
2008, did you go?
Yeah, things got weird.
That was challenging. Yeah, it was a little challenging.
And so we were just getting ready to move down here, and I thought, well, I can just go back and forth to San Francisco. And which I was doing, but the business like really, really got hit hard.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about that. So first of all, I didn't hear the date. When did you start on your own?
2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might have said it. I might have misstated it. So 2003. So now you've been doing it for 22 years. Obviously 08 was a bitch for anybody in residential or commercial real estate. On every level, everything.
Took a wall.
Was that, the most challenging year in all this time? Or talk to us a little bit about how you handled that, went through it, got through it, and then where you are, maybe some other ones.
Yeah, I was looking at, I think if I recall some of your questions, that which I didn't spend a whole time thinking about, but I thought like, if I'm going to talk about a difficult time in my life, it would be that time. We came down here. Of course, what do you do when you're kicking ass up in the, your business?
Right.
Come down, you go buy a dope house.
Yeah.
Right. And so I bought, a big house. We had sold our house top of the market, bought a house top of the market.
And interest rates were terrible back then.
Oh, they got better, but they were bad.
They were the mark. I mean, shit, I hate to say it, they were lower than the other.
Yeah.
2009 was when it really, really hit hard for me.
Yeah.
But for about the next 4 or 5 years, I mean, I met my partner and I started our careers together at CB in 1987. We're still business partners right now.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And in 87, and when I moved back, I said, hey, look, this business that I own is sort of foundering, and, I'm going to let my partners in the Bay Area keep it. They wanted to flip houses, and that's not what I do. I said, let's start a company. And, I want to build a platform where I wake up in the morning and I'm making money. And I'm not having to worry about where the next
Passive income is nice.
Yeah. Right. But, those 3 or 4 years were brutal. Absolutely. In fact, and I've talked to a number of other entrepreneurs. I still have like PTSD, and I'm not like joking. Like I had a real fucking PTSD from that time.
Do you feel like it's changed the way you view money? I know for me, it did. I had to go through my own personal crises on that time period. And the way I look at money now and the way I handle money is entirely different because of that stressor I went through.
Yeah. I have the hardest time in the world accepting that I can potentially have an abundant financial life.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, at that time, what motivated you to get through it?
Well, I had these 3 little kitties that I had.
Okay. So it was with you.
Feed, right?
Yeah.
So I had no choice.
Or to not change careers even.
Yeah. I stood, I really wasn't, first off, the job during that time, the job market sucked. So it's not like I was going to go out and get a job.
Sure.
And secondly, I didn't want to do that. I couldn't see myself working for somebody again. We always say that we're not employable anymore once we become an entrepreneur.
100%.
So I just had, I just grounded out, man. I mean, like I really just, I mean, for 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, those 5 years, every year I just made a little bit more money, a little bit more money, a little bit more money. And in 2014, my partner and I finally merged our companies, and things got really, started really to get better, right? So I made a couple of big deals and got ourselves, back on our feet financially, and then, we've been pretty solid ever since. But yeah, I mean, I think just that time was just, there was so much, like, honestly, if you think about what was going on globally, and I follow economics, and, I mean, we were on the brink of disaster. I mean, I had friends that worked at Lehman, Bear Stearns, sure, like
Countrywide or whatever.
Oh, it was like nothing I'd ever seen, you guys. And
Yeah, it was anarchy. That was the first time in I've ever known that the dollar actually, like, money markets lost money.
right,
Because when Lehman, right, because so many money markets are tied to Lehman's bond ag, and when that lost money, people actually in cash lost
when cash lost their money, right?
money. Yeah, which was
Like,
crazy.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it really hit me hard. And what was the worst part about it? Is, my kids were young, and I didn't want them to worry, right? And their mom was there for me for sure. She listened. But she was just plugging along every day doing what it just didn't impact her the way it impacted me.
Right.
And so, and I think about, what I regret. If you said, like, hey, what are some of the things you regret about being an entrepreneur? I mean,
You're making this interview super easy.
yeah, I mean, these guys,
Yeah.
I was there, but I wasn't present. Like,
Yeah.
I coached soccer, but like, I don't remember much of it.
I can actually resonate 100% with that. 100% same problem. I isolated my family from all of that. I think it's probably to the detriment, at one point to my marriage, because I actually isolated them, and then it created resentment in essence, because they're just living their life, doing their thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
must be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just really like, and then it was like all work and no play. Like, and it's still great. Even when things got a little bit better, I was still grinding, right, with my partner, getting the business going. And then, so I mean, just to file on your question about money, like, we're doing pretty well, and business is, I mean, I'm like, like, the business is solid, our financials are solid, but like, you still think I'm very thoughtful about spending, and I just remember how that felt.
Well, let me ask you, because you're talking about '08 in that time, and it's a bitch, as we know, and it could have killed you from a business standpoint. I know you can't see the future, as far as I know. Are you seeing any potential issues now because of the rates and changes, or, like, I don't think we're ever going to see another '08, but are you seeing any kind of into the economist? Yeah, because you say you follow this stuff. I mean, maybe you'll learn something. I don't know.
Dude,
So,
so there's this thing, like in '08, like, I think the Black Swan was
Yeah, Black Swan.
all that paper that was being bought by
Derivatives.
by
Big Short.
all these loans that were getting done in the residential. I know, a fantastic film.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't realize, like, how much leverage there was out there in the economy, like in especially in real estate. And that, I didn't think about, like, Norway buying, a bunch of bonds, and then all of a sudden, then without worth nothing, the global impact that could have, and really how much trouble the banks were in. So I always think about to myself now, like, what could be the Black Swan, right?
Right.
What could be the event that causes that I don't know about? Sure. So my answer to you, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. But I mean, like, look, we've got I think that we have a lot of transparency about our problems right now. Like, and our national debt is a problem. It's impressive. Yes. Although I do believe that we're on a better path today than we have been in a while. And I'm not being political, but I just think back there in DC right now, they're addressing, our financial system, which is really, really important. And so, whether it be, government efficiency, whether it be tax, or whether it be BESM with the 3, 3, and 3, which is like 3% GDP growth, inflation under 3%, and what's the third three?
Clement? No, it's no, it's like
You're not talking to the right guy if you're looking for an
rates. So we had unemployment, GDP, and rates. 3, 3, and 3. And so like keeping that, creating that balance. I mean, they have a plan. I think that's a pretty good financial plan. So I'm not as worried about that right now. But we saw a couple of weeks ago, we had a bit of a bond crisis. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember when Besant had to fly down to Florida and tell Trump to get in his fucking plane and come back to Tennessee because, bonds.
bond market wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yields are peaking, spiking, and nobody was buying our bonds. Right. And so that's one of those moments where you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like we have debt to trade and nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what really happens?
Which, by the way, traditionally never happens, right? I mean, people put their money in the United States for bonds because of how solid and secure it is. So by the tale here is that if everybody in the world's like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with the U.S., U.S. market. And understand, our rates pay a lot more than most places, and we're more financially secure. And so the fact that people don't want to buy them is a very alarming indicator.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that I'm Italian, as you guys know. I think the 10-year bond, and believe me, I know how fucked up Italian politics are, and their financial system is, and how much corruption there is. But I think the 10-year Italian bond is trading lower than our 10-year.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the fact that no one wanted to buy it is like,
So that shit scares me, but that concerns me.
Yeah.
I think it concerns me that this debt needs to get refinanced. But I look, it's pretty transparent right now. That's what I like. At least it's being talked about. The last 4 years back in DC, I just didn't feel like it was being talked about now. So I don't know if there's like that. I just if there's an unknown event out there. Of course, if we have, war, nuclear bomb goes off somewhere, pandemic.
Yeah.
Who can fuck that pandemic, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, that's a second sort of bit of PTSD. I'm even today, aren't you walking around an airport sometimes just going like, there's people there. Like, it's still surprising to me when I go to an airport and see it full of people that
I don't count those 2 years in my brain. Like when I think about, that was 4 years ago. Oh no, that was, I lost that 2 years.
I 100% agree with you. It's like, it doesn't even cross my mind for some reason. I'm just out of it.
I mean,
until someone's wearing a mask and then I'm like, oh yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and then being an entrepreneur at that time, right? Like,
oh God,
running a company, keeping your people happy, trying to do,
trying to keep company culture, trying to keep people motivated.
Yeah. Well, it changed how it changed how I operate my business. I don't have an office anymore. Yeah. Everyone went remote and no one wants to go back, and sometimes I have to say, I kind of miss the office camaraderie. Like I liked going to an office and then creating that culture and having that, and I know you have a great office because I've been to it. So tell us, what's one of the bigger mistakes you've ever made in the business that you may have learned from?
Agreeing to this podcast?
Yeah.
Now listen, you can't. Everybody's used that.
Mistakes. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to take some risk here and there, right? And I'm technically the visionary in my company, the CEO, and so my job is to try new things.
Is your partner the integrator?
He isn't. We have a different person that's an integrator, but my partner is really the ops person who runs the business, the real estate, delivers the service. The integrator that we have is a different person and who is really helping make sure all the four companies that are part of my company work together. But so I regularly make mistakes, and I have learned to be really open about them and tell people hey, that one didn't work. We're going to try a different one. And so, for example,
are you referring to an investment or in a specific?
Yeah, we've made some investments. I make a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of, but we in 2011, my business partner and I, with another person who was a high net worth guy that I knew, got tied up with a family here that owns a very well-known, significant hotel in San Diego, right? And so we tried to buy this. We got it under contract. They're like, we want to get out of it. We want you to buy it. We got it under contract. We spent 6 months trying to raise the capital. We went non-refundable. That was probably my biggest mistake ever, which I'll never do. We put $500,000 down on this deal, that
Non-refundable.
non-refundable.
Oh,
Wow,
Now,
that's a baller move.
Yeah, in 2011. Yeah, the majority of it was our money partner, right? So Mark and I didn't put.
So you just screwed him up.
yeah.
Well, he was the guy who was driving it, right?
Shots you don't take, you don't make.
No, he was the guy who really wanted to do it. I mean, he kind of pushed it over the finish line. He's like, "Look, I really want to buy this. I really want to buy this hotel. It's going to be iconic." And and I said, "Well, okay, if we're going to do it, we'll be partners, and we'll be the GP, and we'll put our capital in, and So, anyways, we did that, and we got most of our money back. We weren't able to raise the money, and we had no business really doing that deal.
The hotel is a big buy.
Wasn't that one? But it was pretty well known.
Yeah.
So we didn't do that deal, and so
But so what's if you got most of your money back? It wasn't that huge of a mistake, but the statement.
I didn't lose all that much money, but I wasted a lot of time, and a lot of my own sort of emotional and mental.
That's actually the worst part.
Yeah. I mean, we've put a ton of time and effort into it. And I mean, I don't regret it because I learned a lot. I learned, like, first off, I mean, we don't do hotels, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, I learned that, I'll never, and I haven't since, ever go non-refundable on a deposit.
Yeah.
Without, doing inspections. And we've had situations where they're like, "Oh, you got to go harder, like, on writing the contract." I'm like, "No. I won't."
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I won't. And I haven't since. So that was a big mistake. I mean, but, we were taking some risk to go, we're swinging for the fences. So once in a while you do that. So I learned a lot. In the business itself, I think we've made some tactical errors along the way that I would say that, maybe could have had a different outcome for us, but because we have one of the things we've done right, I can name deals that I wish we wouldn't have done. Like that one was hard. We buy investment real estate, right? So we bought some office buildings in 2019.
Oh boy.
That's we bought two of them here in San Diego.
Yeah.
And what happened in 2020?
Yeah.
Well, one of them we sold. Because everybody all of a sudden the NIH money went flowing into life science.
Yeah.
And we sold and hit a 42% internal rate of return on it. We crushed it. Yeah. We bought it for $205 a foot, sold it for $305 a foot in like 18 months or something like that. That's great. 20 months. And we had lost a big tenant. So I was like, phew. So we crushed it. Thank God. Right?
Yeah.
But the other one we bought,
it's a legacy, yes.
Didn't go very well. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I don't own it anymore, but I mean, it didn't go very well. And so, but we bought, I remember talking to one of our joint venture partners back in Boston. And I said, we have this problem deal and it's not going to look great on our track record. He goes, "What, did you buy an office building in 2019? I said, "Yeah, that's what I bought." And he says, "So, I do you call those mistakes? I guess
It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. But let me say something real quick because there's a lot of commercial real estate guys. There's a lot of real estate guys in the believe it or not. And you said something, and I just want to know for those people that are why not invest in hotels? Why do you not do that? What was the challenge?
I'm just not a hotel guy. Okay, but office, industrial, retail,
or silver billing.
And now we what's interesting that when you as you learn, you become more and more. You become. Sometimes when I do these kinds of things and I love mentoring because I actually realize that over the years I figured out a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's weird.
I don't buy one of the things I've learned is the more focused you are, the more successful the better you're going to be at the thing that you do, right?
100% agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have
do what you do it well, do it often.
Yeah, right. And we have fine-tuned our investment strategy to only acquiring industrial.
Yep.
And which is an asset class that is less risky, less complicated, which my business partner, who is our ops guy, is supremely experienced doing. That's really his wheelhouse, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm more of an office guy. He's good at he's good at all. But I was an office guy in San Francisco, right? And but he is. He's so great at that, and our team has gotten so good at that. So we're just really dialed into our strategy now in a much more profound way. So buying hotels, it's just there are people who are really, really good at it, and I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, that's I think it helps with EBITDA at the end of the day, right? If you have a lane you're going to stay in, you stay in that lane, and you can build ops around that lane. And the more lanes you have, in my opinion, that's more ops, which cuts into your EBITDA, which at the end of the day is all we're really trying to drive. And at least that's been my experience.
Well, it depends on, I guess, your profit. I mean, in the lanes, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you get some new lanes too. So I mean, but I do think, like, what's ironic in my own business, I'm starting to niche into one lane.
Yeah.
And it's helping that EBITDA. So you might be right. So
I mean, okay. The flip side of this is, I'll tell you guys, is that we own Intersection is 4 companies.
Okay.
We have a facility services company, which is light construction and electrical services. We have a property management company. We have an investment management company, and we have a brokerage company, right? So all 4 of those businesses we brought together to build, a full service, vertically integrated platform. Like, we can do what maybe a Jones Lang LaSalle can do on a micro level, so with 50 people in the company. So that's great. But that also, at times, I'm like,
Not diversified.
am I really? It's great to have the diversified income, which, I wake up in the morning and there's money there now.
Yeah.
So we have money, like, maybe if, brokerage is having a bad month, we have a bigger month than one of the other businesses, and, we acquire a property and we have an acquisition fee, or we sell an asset and we get to promote our carried interest. It's stable. And
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about the payroll, and we've all had those situations, right? And you look at the bank accounts, I'm always like, okay, we're in pretty good shape. And that, although that is not the highly focused, right? So but the focus of that strategy was diversification. So I diversify, and each of those businesses stands on its own, and each of those businesses is profitable, and some have greater growth potential than the others.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've done that right. But if a PE guy came, or gal came in, and a person came in and said, hey, let me look at your businesses, they might go like, and they have, for example, like, I'm not going to name the business, but like, one of them, they're just like, why do you do that? Yeah. I'm like, well, so anyways, I'm not saying that I'm doing everything perfect, but I'm getting better at understanding, what not to do. And that focus is very important.
What do you think, like, when you wake up in the morning, because again, like you said, you're financial comfortable, things that go down that path. When you wake up in the morning, what gets you out of bed?
Very strong coffee.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
he is not getting out of his coffee.
Yeah. Have a very high quality
I do.
coffee that I have in the morning.
Yes.
That's an interesting question. It used to be, I really wanted to get, financially stable.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to make sure my kids were able to get through college, and, to be honest, a little bit of fear, of not being, of starting a business and failing, fear of failure, right? Like highly motivated, like, to not be that guy that his business failed, and having to pick up the pieces, and, maybe even getting a job.
Yep.
There were moments during the financial crisis, I was like, how do I make some money?
Yeah.
How am I going to make some money? And I never wanted to borrow money from my parents or my family. And, I'll tell you, my brother and my sister had pretty successful businesses in their lives. And, I felt a little bit like, I wasn't as good as them.
Yeah.
So it was just, I wouldn't call it sibling rivalry, but I just, I couldn't face not doing well in my life.
Right.
It was very, really hard.
When you have a lot of weight on your shoulders, obviously, with, the children and everything else. I know what drives me, I've got 2 special needs kids that I know at the end of the day, they cannot support themselves in a financial way. And I know that's what motivates me to get moving, and to make certain that I can take care, and I can speak for them when they can't speak for themselves at the end of the day. And I know it's a huge driver for me. And I always look at that, like, what's the big driving force for that? Is it legacy? Is it, those type of things is always what I'm kind of aiming at.
Well, yeah, and it's a good question. So, that has shifted though over the years, because during that financial time, during the financial crisis, it was like I said, like, even today, you still like, ooh. you remember it. And I still remember the pandemic pretty clearly. I think for entrepreneurs, those kinds of global events that can, like when you're just looking at your business and going, holy shit, like this could all
crumble. Yeah.
fuck, and I've seen it even happen in good times to other entrepreneurs, like where they're like crushing it, all of a sudden they made a mistake or something went weird in their business, and like one thing got shut down, like
Lost one client.
lost one big client, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I've been making $3 million a year, and all of a sudden I'm making 30 grand.
Yeah.
And I was, living big, right? And like, so, but now what drives me is, so when I joined EO, right? I mean, a lot changed for me. So I did carry the weight of the world on my shoulder. And mine is like, I became the most resilient, toughest, up at 4:30 in the morning, hitting a workout at work, working till late, not being present, grinding, making sure that I did not fail.
Right.
I worked so fucking hard from 2009 to 2016, 15, 16.
I understand.
I mean, I grounded out. I said, there's no way I'm going to fail in my mind. Like I just was very resilient. And so whenever I had those moments where I was like, where fear was trying to creep its way into, that my, how I was feeling that day or my initiative that day, I just said, Rocco,
Pick up the
phone,
Yeah.
going. When I joined EO, right, in 2015, 16, the whole world changed for me. Like, I realized that, first off, I had a right to a life. I had a right to...
There are other people like you.
Yeah. I had a right to have fun.
Yeah.
It's pleasure. Like, everything, again, use that term, carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I was just doing everything for them. I wanted them to be happy. I wanted them to be, the kids to feel safe and secure, to take care of my family, to not look like I remember talking to my sister and telling her about how things were during that time. She goes, you never told us. You never said anything to us. I said, no, I put the best face on, right?
Yeah.
And so, we, when I did now, it's just something I got stopped up because I thought about something during that time. Like that was like we would go to McDonald's because it's cheap.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
The family $McDonald's, like $25 for dinner. The kids were happy. Like I didn't want to go spend $150 otherwise.
Right.
Right. And I remember that time I was going like, fuck, man, I can't afford to go to like El Torito. All right. Yeah. And that was, so that's what I got caught up thinking about. But, when I, as in EO, I saw a lot of people going through a lot of different things, but then just really the business was doing better. Obviously I was doing over $1 million in sales in revenue to make the orders take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then met people like you and facing the challenges together and dealing with the fear of failure and being in forum and being part of this community where I could have open, vulnerable conversations with people right away.
Yeah.
It just changed my life. And I started to have, a little bit, all work and no play was no longer my mantra or hike. And so I started doing some fun things. And I'll never forget, I went to Toronto in Canada for my first global leadership conference when I was on the board. And I was like, I hadn't gone anywhere in forever. Yeah. I've been in 27 different countries. Like I hadn't gone anywhere.
Sure.
Very, very long time. But this is really cool. So anyways, what drives me now is just really, I really want to look back on a body of work. I appreciate what I've gone through.
Yeah.
Mark, that story of resilience, being able to sit here and talk with you guys about it is really special for me. But being able to look back on a body of work where I said, look, I fought through it.
Yeah.
Well, you've been in EO now for 10 years. There's a lot of new EO people. The guys that don't know you, so this will be good for them to get to know you a little bit. What's a misconception you think that people have about you?
About me?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I think it's surprise. People sometimes are that I'm like I lack confidence or I'm insecure like everybody else is. Like I'll have people come like, oh, I was told I need to. I'm introvert. That
Yeah. Right.
that I don't really love. So I just Like, I mean, if I go to like another different party that's like an EO party, like I don't really, I'm not as social. Um, so maybe that's one, but I mean, also like, I mean, I feel like I have built a great reputation in this organization, which, I'm grateful for. But when some people are like, hey, I really, I was told I got to meet you, or I really need to meet you and talk to you about this, or, and like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Who told you that?
Yeah. Who told you that? Like so yeah, but I mean, as far as this, I mean, I, I mean, maybe, I get this a lot because I'm Italian and my name's Rocco. Like I'm seen as like a hardcore driver, and I am a driver, I guess. But I mean, I don't have a very hard shell.
Well, what's interesting about that though is like when I didn't know Rocco, I looked at him as more of an introvert because we didn't really speak a lot. So that was my misconception. He's actually really he's
comfortable.
He's comfortable. Yeah, he's actually kind of listening, right? And then you get to know him, and he's extroverted as hell. Like I've been out with him many times, and it's like, he'll outpace me, And so I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know.
The engagement meeting. I remember I went to the engagement meeting when I first joined up with EO, and I remember I walked off the elevator at Symphony Towers, at the U Club, and walked out. The first person walked up like, I'm Rocco Cortese. We need to meet. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
I mean, just this community makes it a lot easier. I look, and maybe I'm not as introverted as I used to be as a result of
probably not
the practice.
It's probably opened you up a bunch
for sure. Well, and being chapter president was, an experience that was, also life changing, and during a very difficult time. But getting up and speaking in front of the chapter, that was nerve wracking. I'm not that kid. I wasn't that kid growing up. I was not the kid who like owned a sandbox. I'm the same kid who got his ass kicked in the sandbox.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Right. So.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap up. Let me ask the last question, if you don't mind. So we'll do the Dan Sullivan coaching style question, which is if I was meeting you 3 years from now, what do you see the trajectory of your both business and personal life to be?
So yeah, I am 60, and I turned 60 this year, and interestingly, I am becoming more and more interested in what my life looks like, not being focused, driven, resilient.
Very interesting. Yep.
Right. And so 3 years from now, I'm hoping that we're very focused on succession in my company. And we've got a couple of young leaders that we're trying to grow into higher level roles, which is allowing me to do what I want to do as a visionary and go out and swing for the fences. And so I hope that we are able to execute on that element of business transition for us, and where I can be really high level and step away from most of the duties and have a lot of free time.
Right.
And then, we'll look at some exit strategies a couple of years after that. If we have, we're also planning for potential exit strategies on one or two of the companies, maybe all four of them separately, maybe all four of them together. I don't know, but we're really starting to be more strategic about what the back end of my work life looks like. And then after that, I love mentoring, and I love doing, helping young entrepreneurs grow in their careers. And so I'll continue to do that kind of thing. Personal, my daughter will be out of college. My son just graduated. As you know, I have a special needs son. You both know I'm going through a divorce. My wife and I are separated. And it's
a challenging time to be running a business and doing all.
Yeah. It's a little. I'm really grateful. She's a great person, and we're not really aligned with where we wanted to be in our lives, and so everything's amicable. And I'm hoping that I have a sort of settled a lot of that personally in terms of my housing. Like I'm currently renting a wonderful home from my sister. You have been there, you've not been there. You're invited to come over. A couple of houses from the ocean in Del Mar, which is fantastic. Having a great time. I'm very blessed that all the things came together to make that work, and have a wonderful housemate in Ron Harold, who's a member. So life is, is pretty good, but I definitely want to transition from that into, where my long-term what my long-term life is going to be like. And I hope
you're in a little bit of a transition.
Yeah. Today I am,
but by 3 years you'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah. Personal. Yeah. But look, everything is cool. It's fine. And, I think what I have learned in EO, and I would say if there's anything that I've really happy that EO, the gift that a gift of learning that EO has given me is being present and being able to acknowledge the journey, acknowledge the moment.
The journey's
and be able to say to myself, hey, Rocco, I mean, this is, maybe not ideal right now. And this is difficult. Or, you're not in your home that, what you thought was going to be your forever home. You're not there.
Right.
But, there is a path. It's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. And so I am, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's all that matters, man.
That matters.
Life is good.
We'll do it again in 3 years.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Rocco, thanks for coming in. Grace, talking to you, and we will see you next time. I hope everyone got to know Rocco Cortese.
Thank you. Awesome.